The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. Picture this. I'm standing right in front of you, and I've got a proposition that'll change everything. In my left hand, $3 million in cold, hard cash. Take it, and you're a millionaire right this second. No catches, no fine print. Just walk away rich. In my right hand, a single, ordinary penny. But here's the twist. This penny has a superpower. Every day for 31 days, it doubles in value. Day 2, it's worth 2 cents. Day 3, 4 cents. You get the idea. So what's it gonna be? The instant fortune or the magic penny? Be honest. Most of us would grab that cash faster than you can say early retirement. I mean, a penny? That's almost insulting. After a week, you'd have a whopping $1.28. Meanwhile, your buddy who took the cash is posting Instagram stories from a yacht. Fast forward to day 20. You've got about $5,000. Not terrible, but you're probably having serious buyer's remorse watching those $3 million drive past in a Ferrari. But then, something wild starts happening. That slow, invisible force you've been trusting suddenly kicks into overdrive. By day 31, that humble penny has transformed into over $10 million, more than triple the instant cash. Mind-blowing, right? This isn't just some clever party trick. It's actually the blueprint for an extraordinary life, hiding in plain sight. It's the beating heart of a book that's become the secret weapon for high achievers everywhere, the compound effect. The author, Darren Hardy, isn't your typical self-help guru meditating on a mountaintop. This guy's father was a hard-nosed football coach who didn't believe in participation trophies. Hardy was wired for discipline before he could drive. By 18, he was pulling in 6 figures. By 24, over $1 million a year. At 27, he was a self-made millionaire running a company worth $50 million. And he did it all by cracking the code of that magic penny. By the time we're done here, you're going to understand the invisible force that's been secretly running your life this whole time. And more importantly, you'll learn exactly how to harness it to turn those tiny, seemingly meaningless daily actions into the extraordinary life you've been chasing. We're being sold a lie, and it's everywhere. Television commercials, social media ads, late-night infomercials, they're all peddling the same fantasy. That success is lightning in a bottle. That you're just one secret away, one lottery ticket away, one miracle pill away from being rich, fit, and living your dream life by next Tuesday. Darren Hardy calls this the microwave mentality. We want our success like we want our leftovers, instant, hot, and ready in under a minute. But here's the truth that nobody wants to hear. Success isn't a giant leap. It's a slow climb. It's the work of a force so powerful yet so subtle that most of us never even realize it's shaping our lives. This is the compound effect. Here's the formula, and it's the only one you'll ever need. Small, smart choices plus consistency plus time equals radical transformation. Sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? And that's exactly the problem. These tiny steps feel so insignificant in the moment. One salad doesn't give you a six-pack. Reading 10 pages doesn't make you a genius. Saving $100 doesn't make you wealthy, at least not today. So we quit. We convince ourselves it's not working. But we're blind to the magic happening beneath the surface. Let me introduce you to 3 friends who'll help you see it: Larry, Scott, and Brad. These guys grew up together, live in the same neighborhood, and make about $50,000 a year. They're all married, reasonably healthy, but carrying a few extra pounds around the middle. Larry's our baseline. He just coasts along, doing what he's always done. He's not miserable, but he complains that his life never seems to change. Scott decides to make some tiny adjustments. He reads 10 pages of a good book every day. During his commute, he He listens to something educational for 30 minutes, and he cuts just 125 calories from his daily diet. That's it. Maybe he swaps his afternoon soda for water, or skips the mayo on his sandwich. Barely noticeable changes. Brad goes the other direction. He splurges on a big-screen TV and starts binge-watching cooking shows. He sets up a little bar in the family room and adds one extra alcoholic drink to his weekly routine. Nothing dramatic. He's just enjoying life a bit more. After 5 months, if you lined these three guys up, you couldn't tell them apart. After 10 months, still nothing obvious. Larry's unchanged, Scott's still reading his pages, and Brad's enjoying his new entertainment setup. It's not until around the 25-month mark that differences start to appear. But by month 31, just over 2.5 years, the transformation is shocking. Scott is fit and energized. Those 125 fewer calories a day, 33 pounds gone. He's also invested nearly 1,000 hours in self-development through reading and audiobooks. That knowledge earned him a promotion and a raise. His marriage is thriving. Brad is now overweight and lethargic. Those extra 125 daily calories packed on 33 pounds. He's now 67 pounds heavier than Scott. His energy tanked, he's irritable at work, and his marriage is hanging by a thread. And Larry? Exactly where he started, only now he's bitter about it. This is the compound effect in real time. Scott didn't have some overnight transformation. His success was small, smart choices repeated consistently over time. And this force cuts both ways. Brad's life didn't implode because of one catastrophic mistake. It unraveled through what Hardy calls the ripple effect. That extra rich food made him sluggish. Being sluggish made him cranky at work and less productive. That led to negative feedback from his boss. At home, he was too tired to connect with his wife, creating distance between them. One small, poor habit sent negative ripples through every corner of his life. So if our lives are shaped by these tiny daily choices, the first crucial step is taking complete ownership of them. Hardy learned this lesson at 18 during a seminar. The speaker asked the crowd, "What percentage of responsibility do you have in making a relationship work?" People shouted answers, 50-50, 80-20. The instructor walked to the easel and wrote in massive letters, 100/0. He said, "You have to give 100% with zero expectation of receiving anything back. Only when you take 100% responsibility for making it work will it actually work." That idea rewired Hardy's brain. He realized that taking full responsibility for everything, his wins, his losses, even his reactions, meant he held all the power. No more blaming traffic for being late. No more blaming coworkers for mistakes. No more blaming his mood on what someone else did. It was all on him. If it was to be, it was up to him. This is where real freedom lives. But how can you take responsibility for choices you're not even aware you're making? Most of us sleepwalk through our days. We mindlessly demolish a bag of chips. We scroll social media for an hour and have no idea where the time went. We're prisoners of habits we never consciously chose. The first step toward change is awareness. And the single most powerful tool for creating awareness? Tracking. Hardy learned this the hard way. In his early 20s, he was making serious money. But when tax season came, his accountant dropped a bomb. "You owe over $100,000. Hardy was floored. He didn't have the cash. "Where did all your money go?" the accountant asked. "I honestly have no idea," Hardy confessed. The accountant gave him a simple assignment that changed everything. For the next 30 days, carry a small notebook and write down every single penny you spend. Whether it's $1,000 suit or 50 cents for tire air, write it down. That simple exercise was a revelation. It forced consciousness into every decision. He'd find himself resisting purchases just to avoid pulling out that notebook. That one practice completely transformed his relationship with money. This works for anything. Want to lose weight? Track everything you eat for a week. Not to judge yourself, just to observe. You'll be amazed. Want to be more productive? Track your time in 30-minute blocks. Where your time actually goes will probably shock you. You can't manage what you don't measure. All winners are trackers. Vegas casinos track every dollar. Olympic coaches track every calorie and workout. By simply tracking your behavior, you become aware. And with awareness comes the power to consciously change. But making the right choices isn't enough on its own. Because what stands between you and your goals isn't just knowledge. It's your behavior. And your behavior is run by your habits. Aristotle wrote, "We are what we repeatedly do." Studies suggest that as much as 95% of what we do daily is habitual. We're creatures of habit, mostly on autopilot, letting our habits steer while we zone out in the passenger seat. So the real question is, how do we break the bad habits dragging us down and install the good ones that'll lift us up? Most people think the answer is willpower. I just need more discipline, they declare. But Hardy argues that willpower isn't enough. It's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. You can manage it for a while, but eventually your arms tire, and that ball is shooting back up to the surface. Willpower is a limited resource. It runs dry. So if willpower isn't the answer, what is? You don't need willpower, you need why power. Your choices only have real meaning when you connect them to your deepest desires and dreams. You need to want something badly enough and know exactly why you want it, or you'll bail when things get tough. Imagine I place a wooden plank on the ground. 10 inches wide, 30 feet long. I'll give you $20 to walk across it. Easy money, right? You'd do it without a second thought. Now imagine I put that same plank between 200-story skyscrapers. Would you walk across for $20? Not a chance. The risk is massive. The reward is tiny. But what if your child was on the opposite rooftop and the building was on fire? Would you cross the plank then? You'd be halfway across before you even thought about it. What changed? The plank didn't change. The danger didn't change. Your why changed. Your reason became so overwhelmingly powerful that the how became irrelevant. When your reason is powerful enough, you'll figure out anyhow. Your why power is the fuel. Your goals are the destination. You need clearly defined goals. A goal that isn't written down is just a daydream. But a written goal, backed by a powerful why, activates something fascinating in your brain. It's like installing new software that helps you spot the people, resources, and opportunities that were always there. You just couldn't see them before. This is the real secret behind the law of attraction. It's not magic. It's focused attention. But there's one more critical step. Most people setting goals ask, what do I need to do to get this? Hardy says that's the wrong first question. The right question is, who do I need to become? Success isn't something you chase. It's something you attract by becoming the right person. Before Hardy met his wife, he spent weeks filling a journal with descriptions of his perfect partner. Her personality, her values, her sense of humor, everything. 40 pages worth. But then, instead of asking, where do I find this woman, he flipped the question. What kind of man would a woman like this be looking for? Who do I need to become to attract someone of this caliber? He filled another 40 pages describing the man he needed to be, and he got to work on becoming that person. One day, as if she stepped straight out of those journal pages, his wife Georgia appeared. The key was focusing on who he needed to become, not just what he needed to do. Once you know your why, have clear goals, and understand who you need to become, you can start building the small daily disciplines that create powerful habits. But first, you've got to eliminate the bad ones. Hardy offers some strategies. First, identify your triggers. What situations? The who, what, where, and when spark your bad habits? Stress? Boredom? Certain friends? Write them down. Awareness is always step one. Second, clean house. Get rid of anything that enables your bad habit. Want to stop drinking soda? Don't keep it in the house. Want to eat healthier? Clear the junk food from your pantry. Make it easier on your willpower. Third, swap it. Find a healthier replacement. Instead of nightly ice cream, maybe have 2 squares of dark chocolate. Instead of crunching potato chips, crunch on baby carrots or celery. Same satisfaction, better outcome. With these tools, you can start making new choices, building new behaviors, and repeating them long enough to establish new habits. And when you do, something incredible enters the picture, a powerful ally that every superachiever knows intimately. Hardy calls him Big Mo. Momentum. Think about pushing a playground merry-go-round from a dead stop. Getting it moving is brutal. You have to lean in with everything you've got. And for those first few pushes, it feels like you're making zero progress. But then it starts to turn. Slowly at first, then faster. You keep pushing, and soon you're running alongside it. Eventually, it's spinning so fast that keeping it going takes almost no effort. Just a light push here and there. That's momentum. Starting a new habit feels like that first agonizing push. Tons of effort, barely any visible progress. But if you stay consistent, Big Mo kicks in. And once momentum is on your side, you become nearly unstoppable. This is why the rich get richer and the successful get more successful. They've got Mo working for them. Here's the warning though. Momentum works both ways. A few poor choices, repeated consistently, create negative momentum that can send your life spiraling. So how do you get Big Mo on your team? Through routines. A routine is something you do every single day without fail, until it becomes as automatic as brushing your teeth. The secret to world-class performance is building world-class routines. You can't control everything that happens in the middle of your day, but you can almost always control how your day begins and ends. Hardy calls this bookending your days. His morning routine sets the tone for everything that follows. He wakes up early, reflects on what he's grateful for, plans his 3 most important tasks, stretches, and reads something positive and educational for 30 minutes, all before checking email. His evening routine is about cashing out the day, reviewing his performance, journaling insights, and reading 10 pages of something inspirational before sleep. By controlling the bookends, he ensures that regardless of what chaos erupts in between, he starts strong and finishes strong every single day. The real danger, of course, is inconsistency. Think of an old-fashioned hand-pumped water well. To get water flowing, you have to pump that lever over and over to create suction and draw water up from deep underground. At first, you pump and pump and pump, and nothing happens. This is where most people quit. They don't realize they're just a few pumps away from success. If you keep pumping, eventually a few drops will sputter out. Many people quit here too. All that work for a few drops? Forget this. But if you persist, a full, steady stream of water finally gushes out. Success! Now all you need to do is pump consistently with easy, steady strokes to keep it flowing. But what happens if you stop pumping for too long? The water drains all the way back down, your momentum vanishes, and you're back to square one with that same exhausting pumping to get it flowing again. When you slack off on your disciplines, you don't just lose progress from the days you skipped. You kill your momentum, you lose Big Mo, and that's a tragedy. Now, even with rock-solid routines and powerful momentum, invisible forces are constantly trying to knock you off course. To sustain your progress, you need to manage the three great influences in your life. The first is input, what you feed your mind. Think of your mind as an empty glass. It holds whatever you pour into it. If you fill it with sensational news, drama-filled reality shows, and toxic social media, you're pouring muddy water into your glass. Everything you create gets filtered through that mud, garbage in, garbage out. You've got to stand guard at the door of your mind. Limit exposure to negativity. Hardy doesn't watch news broadcasts or read newspapers. He gets what he needs through targeted news feeds, taking maybe 15 minutes a day. But it's not enough to just stop the dirty water. You need to flush it out with clean water. Turn your car into a university on wheels. Listen to educational and inspirational audio during your commute. The average person spends hundreds of hours yearly in their car. That's enough time to earn the equivalent of a doctorate in any subject you choose. The second great influence is your associations, the people you spend time with. Jim Rohn, the legendary philosopher who mentored Hardy, famously said we become the combined average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. Their attitudes, health, income, habits, it all rubs off on us, subtly but powerfully. Think about your closest 5 people right now. Are they lifting you higher or dragging you down? You can't hang out with negative people and expect to live a positive life. Sometimes this means making tough choices. You might need to completely cut ties with certain people. Other times, you need limited association, spending 3 minutes with someone instead of 3 hours. And most importantly, seek expanded associations. Find mentors and peers who are already where you want to be, and spend more time with them. Let their success influence you. The third influence is your environment, your surroundings. The dream in your heart might be bigger than the environment you're currently in. Sometimes you need to leave that environment to see your dream come alive. When Hardy was starting in real estate, he'd drive to one of the wealthiest, most beautiful neighborhoods in the area. He'd just sit there, looking at multi-million-dollar homes perched on cliffs, letting that environment expand his vision of what was possible. Years later, through an incredible series of events, he bought the exact house he'd been admiring from afar. His environment fueled his ambition. Your environment also includes the clutter in your life. Every unfinished task, every broken thing, every unresolved issue drains your energy and momentum. You get in life what you tolerate. If you tolerate clutter, you'll live in clutter. If you tolerate disrespect, you'll be disrespected. Raise your standards, and your environment will rise to meet them. Now for the final piece. Once you've mastered your choices, habits, momentum, and influences, how do you accelerate your results and truly stand out from everyone else? This is where you learn to push past your limits. In any worthwhile endeavor, you'll eventually hit the wall. It's that moment when every cell in your body is screaming at you to quit. It's the last few reps in a brutal workout set. It's the final mile when your legs feel like concrete. It's the last sales call after a draining day. This is the moment of truth. This is where most people tap out. But this is also where real growth happens. All those reps before just got you to the wall. The real transformation, the multiplied results, happens with what you do after hitting that wall. When you think you're done, push a little further. When you've met expectations, do a bit more. This is how you create wow. Think about Oprah. For one season premiere, she gave away cars to 11 audience members who desperately needed them. Beautiful gesture. That met expectations. But then she went further. She gave a brand new car to every single person in the audience. She didn't just meet expectations, she obliterated them. That wow moment is what people remember forever. It multiplied the impact of her generosity 1,000-fold. You can do this in your own life. You can do the unexpected. Everyone sends Christmas cards. Hardy sends Thanksgiving cards with handwritten notes explaining why he's grateful for that person. Small change, but it stands out. It creates impact. You can always exceed expectations. Find that line of what's expected, then deliberately step over it. It's that little bit of extra effort that separates ordinary from extraordinary. That's the journey. It starts with one small choice. That choice, repeated, becomes a habit. Those habits, when you stick with them, build momentum. You protect that momentum by controlling your influences. And you accelerate everything by pushing past limits and exceeding expectations. It's not a secret. It's not a gimmick. It's a formula. And it works every single time. The power of the compound effect isn't in revealing some revolutionary, never-before-heard secret. Its power lies in its beautiful simplicity and its return to a fundamental truth we've nearly forgotten in our instant gratification world. The truth is simple. There are no shortcuts. Success is earned in the mundane, unglamorous, sometimes boring moments of daily life. It's earned when you choose the salad over fries, even though nobody's watching. It's earned when you read those 10 pages instead of mindlessly scrolling. It's earned when you make that one extra call when you're already exhausted. This book is a powerful reminder that your life isn't the product of a few massive decisions, but rather the sum of thousands of tiny ones. You are where you are today because of choices you made yesterday and the day before, and the person you'll be in 5 years will be shaped by the choices you make today. In a world screaming for more speed, more hype, more noise, this book is a quiet voice of wisdom. It tells us to slow down, focus on small things, and trust the power of consistency. It reminds us that the tortoise really does win the race, not because he's faster or smarter, but because he keeps putting one foot in front of the other, day after day. So how can you put this wisdom into practice, starting right now? Here are 3 simple actions for today. First, track one thing. Just for the next 7 days, track one small area of your life. Maybe every dollar you spend, every calorie you consume, or how much time you waste on TV. Don't judge it. Just observe. This simple act of awareness is your first step toward reclaiming control. Second, turn your car into a classroom. Next time you drive somewhere, skip the radio and listen to something educational. A podcast, an audiobook, anything that teaches you something new. This one change, compounded over time, can equal a college education. Third, identify your why. Take 10 quiet minutes tonight with pen and paper and ask yourself why you want what you want. Don't just write, "I want to be successful." Dig deeper. Why? For freedom? To provide for your family? To make a difference? Get to the emotion. That emotion is your fuel. It's your why power, and it's infinitely more powerful than willpower alone. That was the summary of The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. We've covered the major ideas today, but here's the truth. A summary is just a map. The real treasure is found when you walk the path yourself. The true magic happens in those quiet reading moments when a particular story or simple phrase connects with you in an unexpected way. This summary helps you decide if this book deserves your time. If anything we discussed today resonated with you, grab a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning. It's an experience that can genuinely transform how you see yourself and the small, powerful choices you make every day. The link is in the description. If you found this summary valuable, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss our next journey into another life-changing book. Let's keep growing together.